With a global population of 7.8 billion people, it's not your fault if you didn't realize that some of these celebrities have passed away. I'm gonna say rest in peace right now for everyone I'm about to mention on this list, but hopefully I'll be able to highlight the impact that these celebrities had on society before their passing. It's unfortunate that not too many people realize these celebrities had passed away, but regardless, we're going to count down the ones that we lost in 2020. Welcome to Top 10 Beyond the Screen. I'm your host, Johnny Rogers, and before we kick this video off, let us know down below which celebrity death has shocked you the most, and tell us why. Also, if you don't want to miss another daily video from us, make sure you tap that subscribe button to join our notification squad. Now, with any further delay, let's get right into today's list of the top 10 celebrities who you didn't realize passed away in 2020. In at number 10, Rocky Johnson. Not only was he the father of Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, but Rocky had built a successful career in the world of entertainment in his own right. The 75-year-old Canadian professional wrestler had shattered racial barriers in his career and knocked down plenty of legendary opponents along the way. On his way to becoming the first black champion in places like Georgia and Texas, he often had to work with wrestlers who were racist. Even when promoters wanted him to adjust his character to be more black, Rocky refused and said that regardless of his gimmick, his athleticism came first. Johnson was even inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame in 2008 for his legendary career. Towards the end of his life, Rocky had been battling with a bad cold as well as a blood clot in his left leg. Although on January 15, 2020, that blood clot had broken free, traveled up his body, and went right to his lung. Due to that happening, he passed very quickly from a massive heart attack. In at number 9, Kirk Douglas. In the golden age of Hollywood, Kirk Douglas was one of their biggest and brightest stars. With more than 92 acting credits, including some 75 movies, 7 of which co-starred his friend Burt Lancaster, Douglas became a superstar even before the term was coined. His very first Academy Award nomination came in 1950 for his role in the film Champion. In 1991, he was awarded the Lifetime Achievement Award from the American Film Institute and became a Kennedy Center honoree in 1994. Fast forward to 1996, and Kirk was being awarded an honorary Oscar for 50 years as a creative and moral force in the film community. He had an incredible career as an actor and lived to be 103. Surprisingly enough, he had been in good health until suffering a stroke in 1996, which ultimately began to deplete his health until he passed from old age on February 5th, 2020. In at number 8, James Lipton. Known by many as the longtime host of Inside the Actors Studio, James Lipton passed away at the age of 93 on March 2nd, 2020. From 1994 until his retirement in 2018, James Lipton had interviewed over 300 actors about their careers, training, and overall their life as an entertainer. He was well known as being an interviewer that did extensive research on each of his guests, which made the show 10 times better than most actor interviews. He would keep a detailed collection of index cards ready to go and always spoke in a professional yet curious manner. In 2013, he won the Primetime Creative Arts Emmy Award for Outstanding Hosted Nonfiction Series or Special, and in 2016, he was awarded the Critics' Choice Television Award for Best Reality Show Host. In at number 7, Kenny Rogers. Unless you're a fan of country music, you may have missed the passing of this legendary performer. At age 81, Kenny Rogers died from natural causes at his home in Sandy Springs, Georgia on March 20th, 2020. In 2012, Rogers published the autobiography Luck or Something Like It, and he received recognition for his substantial music contributions in 2013 when he was inducted into the Country Music Hall of Fame. At the CMA Awards held that November, he also received the Willie Nelson Lifetime Achievement Award. There's no question that his music left a massive impact on the country music genre, but in April of 2018, a series of health challenges began to slow down his touring schedules. In one of his final statements to the press, Kenny said, "I've thoroughly enjoyed this opportunity to say farewell to the fans over the course of the past 2 years on the Gambler's Last Deal tour. I could never properly thank them for the encouragement and support that they've given me throughout my career and the happiness I've experienced as a result of that." In at number 6, Carl Reiner. On June 29, 2020, we lost an absolute comedy legend in the world of entertainment. Carl Reiner passed from natural causes at his home in Beverly Hills, California at age 98. The following day, his son Rob Reiner tweeted, "Last night my dad passed away. As I write this, my heart is hurting. He was my guiding light." Carl's career spanned over live TV, Broadway, big Hollywood films, recording albums, as well as a variety of guest performances. He's even responsible for creating the Dick Van Dyke Show, which was one of the greatest situational comedies in history and actually based on his life as a comedy writer. The best person that could probably speak to his character was Dick Van Dyke himself, and when Reiner passed, he tweeted out, "My idol Carl Reiner wrote about the human comedy. He had a deeper understanding of the human condition than I think even he was aware of. Kind, gentle, compassionate, empathetic, and wise. His scripts were never just funny, they always had something to say about us." In at number 5, Irrfan Khan. This one was quite devastating to say the least because of how young he was at the time. Irrfan was only 53 years old when he passed away from a colon infection, and in 2018 the actor revealed that he had been diagnosed with a neuroendocrine tumor, which kind of affects the way that the cells release hormones into the bloodstream. And he was not only one of India's most talented actors, he had made a massive career for himself in America as well. Wes Anderson adored his talent so much that he specifically wrote him a part in a movie just to work with the actor. Although to many, he was the biggest talent in Bollywood Bollywood and was known for his nuanced and understated performances. In 2013, he won India's National Film Award for his leading role in Pan Singh Tomar, a biopic about a top athlete who becomes a bandit. Some of his other Bollywood hits included Lunchbox and Hindi Medium, and his latest film, Angrenzi Medium, was released just last month. In at number 4, Jerry Stiller. Jerry Stiller, the father of Ben Stiller, was another tragic loss to the comedy community. Jerry unfortunately passed away from natural causes in his home on the Upper West Side of Manhattan on May 11, 2020 at the age of 92. Ben made the announcement via Twitter saying, "I'm sad to say that my father, Jerry Stiller, passed away from natural causes. He was a great dad and grandfather and the most dedicated husband to Anne for about 62 years. He will be greatly missed. Love you, Dad." His portrayal of Frank Costanzo on Seinfeld from 1993 to 1998 brought him widespread critical and popular acclaim. He would then go on to be nominated for an Emmy for Outstanding Guest Actor in a Comedy Appearance in a TV Series. Although Jerry was so much more than just Seinfeld, he had a successful film career as well and even won a Screen Actors Guild Award for his role in the movie Hairspray. Although I'll never forget his famous lines from Seinfeld, with of course the best being "Serenity now! Serenity now!" In at number 3, Fred Willard. Fred Willard, the Emmy Award nominated comedic actor, was best known for his scene-stealing roles in Christopher Guest's improvised ensemble film comedies like Best in Show and Waiting for Guffman. He would also make great appearances on sitcoms such as Modern Family and Everybody Loves Raymond. Unfortunately, Fred died on May 15th at age 86 at his home in Los Angeles due to cardiac arrest, which was first confirmed by his agent. Mr. Willard's characters were a bit more nuanced in his later television roles, and as Fred got older, his characters became a bit more nuanced in his later television roles. He was Brad Garrett's religious nut father-in-law in several episodes of Everybody Loves Raymond, which brought him Emmy Award nominations 3 years in a row. Over the 11 seasons of the show Modern Family, he played Ty Burrell's father, which then led to a 4th Emmy nomination in 2010. However, in the final season of the show that ended last month, they wrote that his character died of old age. In at number 2, Kelly Preston. On July 12, 2020, Kelly Preston died at the age of 57, 2 years after she had been diagnosed with breast cancer. Her diagnosis had largely been kept quiet and was not widely publicized, although her death was just announced in an Instagram post by her husband, John Travolta. John captioned a photo of her and said, "It is with a very heavy heart that I inform you that my beautiful wife Kelly has lost her 2-year battle with breast cancer. She fought a courageous fight with the love and support of so many. My family and I will forever be grateful to her doctors and nurses at MD Anderson Cancer Center, all the medical centers that have helped, as well as her many friends and loved ones who have been by her side. Kelly's love and life will always be remembered. I will be taking some time to be there for my children who have lost their mother. So forgive me in advance if you don't hear from us for a while. But please know that I will feel your outpouring of love in the weeks and months ahead as we heal. All my love, JT." Preston is best known for her roles in Jerry Maguire and What a Girl Wants, and Preston and Travolta have even collaborated together in 2 films, one called Battlefield Earth and her last released movie before her death called Gotti. She will also appear in Off the Rails, which is yet to be released. Last but certainly not least, on our number 1 spot, Little Richard. Little Richard had a career that was unparalleled, and his list of awards ranged from 1956 all the way until 2019. But on May 9th, 2020, he died at the age of 87 at his home in Tennessee from a cause related to bone cancer after battling with a 2-month illness. His brother, sister, and son were with him at the time of his death. This man absolutely pioneered rock and roll and would be a huge influence to the talent that emerged throughout the 1970s and into the 1980s. He was a screaming, preening, scene-stealing, wild man that had killer hits like Tutti Frutti and Long Tall Sally. There's no doubt that he would have been a legend in any era that he was born in, but in the 1950s, they never knew what hit them. When Little Richard came to prominence, he was unapologetically flamboyant. He wore makeup, and to top it off was a piano-playing black man that had personified what many considered to be the devil's music. Well, I should say the establishment guardians considered it devil's music. You have to remember, Little Richard was playing music during a time of segregation where literally they would split people to different sides of the room based on the color of their skin alone. This man went on to break racial barriers and actually bring those sides together, and by the end of the night, everyone was loving the music so much they didn't care who they were dancing next to. All thanks to Little Richard. In at number 10, Naya Rivera. First off, I just want to apologize for not including Naya into our part 1 of this series. At the time of me writing that video, her death had still not been confirmed, and the last thing I wanted to do was just assume anything. Since then, it has been confirmed that she did indeed pass away after saving her 4-year-old son. The Ventura County Sheriff's Office said during a news conference that a body was discovered at Lake Pyro and was identified as the former Glee actress. Rivera and her son had rented a pontoon boat, but a search party was sent out after the boat was overdue for its return. Authorities did locate her son alone and asleep on the boat. He told the rescuers that he and his mother had gone into the water to swim, but that she did not get back on the boat. It was certainly difficult to try and ascertain this knowledge from a 4-year-old, but according to her son, when he got onto that boat, he looked back and watched his mother disappear under the surface of the water.
Grant Imahara. I've been in the visual effects industry for about 9 years now. My specialty is electronics. Anything that lights up or moves.
In at number 9, Grant Imahara. Grant was not only an electrical engineer and roboticist, he also hosted the popular science show known as Mythbusters. While he was a member of the Mythbusters team, Grant went skydiving, drove stunt cars, and came into contact with some of the most iconic characters in cinema history. For 9 years, he worked at Lucasfilms and helped with the company's THX and Industrial Light and Magic divisions. During that time, he became the chief model maker with a specialization in animatronics. Some of his most notable work was on the Star Wars prequels, as well as The Matrix Reloaded, Galaxy Quest, Van Helsing, and Terminator 3 Rise of the Machines. His death was announced by a Discovery Channel representative who said, "We are heartbroken to hear this sad news about Grant. He was an important part of our Discovery family and a really wonderful man. Our thoughts and prayers go out to his family." According to reports, Grant had apparently suffered from a brain aneurysm that ultimately led to his passing at the age of 49.
Is that right?
Stay with it, stay with it, stay with it.
Now, what we would
Can we
like...
change two things?
Sure.
Stephanie, if you don't mind. One, I'd like to be known as one of the better.
In at number 8, Robert Conrad. Actor, singer, and stuntman Robert Conrad was best known for his role in the television series called The Wild Wild West that aired from 1965 to 1969. Along with a successful career in film, Robert also recorded several pop and rock songs in the late 1950s and early 1960s as Bon Conrad. In addition to that, he also hosted a weekly 2-hour national radio show called The PM Show with Robert Conrad. Although he usually portrayed the typical man's man of that era, he always countered that identity with wanting to be known for simply his acting abilities instead. That being said, he was definitely a very tough man with something to prove. Unfortunately, this legendary actor passed away from heart failure at his home in Malibu, California at the age of 84. A small private service was then held on March 1st, which would have been his 85th birthday.
Doing this, as you know by now, it's probably a worn out old story, but I was like 33 when I started doing this. So it's hard for me to let it become my whole life.
In at number 7, Bill Withers. Bill Withers was a legendary singer and songwriter that passed away on March 30th, 2020 after suffering a cardiopulmonary arrest. Withers was a 3-time Grammy winner and was even inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2015. Bill had an incredible sense of humor and even joked with Rolling Stone magazine that after he withdrew from the public eye in the mid-80s, he would read of his own passing. This would immediately prompt a bevy of phone calls to his home, one of which was a very famous minister who called in to see if Bill was still alive, and Bill just said, "I don't know, let me check." Some of his most infamous songs were Ain't No Sunshine, Lean on Me, and Just the Two of Us, plus the many more. Withers worked as a professional musician for 15 years from 1970 to 1985, after which he just moved on to other occupations. In at number 6, Joe Diffie. On March 30th, 2020, country music fans were saddened by the news that pickup man singer Joe Diffie had died from complications of COVID-19, aka the coronavirus disease. While fans of the singer mourned the loss, some social media users attempted to obfuscate the cause of Diffie's death through further and unfounded claims that hospitals were inflating reported death counts from COVID-19 in order to increase their funding. There is no truth to these claims, nor the ones that he passed from lung cancer, and the hospital did not alter the cause of death. Diffie himself published a statement to his Facebook page on March 27, 2020, announcing that he had been diagnosed with COVID-19, or tested positive rather. In the post, Joe said, "I am under the care of medical professionals and currently receiving treatment after testing positive for coronavirus. My family and I are asking for privacy at this time. We want to remind the public and all my fans to be vigilant, cautious, and careful during this pandemic." Diffie is also in the Oklahoma Music Hall of Fame and was a member of the Grand Ole Opry for 25 years. He also won a Grammy Award in 1998 for the song called Same Old Train, which was a collaboration with a dozen other artists, including Clint Black, Merle Haggard, Patti Loveless, and Randy Travis. In at number 5, Shad Gaspard. On May 17th, former WWE star Shad Gaspard disappeared after he and his 10-year-old son were caught up in a riptide at Venice Beach. Authorities would later confirm his death on May 20th, with the coroners officially ruling that he drowned after disappearing in the riptide. According to the Los Angeles County Coroner's Office, Shad's cause of death was ruled as an accident. The document also confirmed that Gaspard's last act was saving his son's life. According to eyewitness reports, he handed the 10-year-old to lifeguards and then disappeared out of view. The search and rescue crews were unable to locate him until his body washed ashore at Venice Beach on May 20th. In at number 4, Charlie Daniels. On July 6th, Country Music Hall of Famer Charlie Daniels passed away at the age of 83 after suffering from a stroke. A statement was released by his publicist at Absolute Publicity that said that he had passed away after arriving at Summit Medical Center in Tennessee. Daniels was a singer, guitarist, and fiddler who started out as a session musician, even playing on Bob Dylan's Nashville Skyline sessions. His signature song by far was The Devil Went Down to Georgia, and over the course of his career, Charlie received a number of big accolades, including his Country Music Hall of Fame induction. He was also a member of the Grand Ole Opry. Daniels was also named the CMA Musician of the Year in 1979, and the Charlie Daniels Band won CMA Instrumental Group of the Year in 1979 and in 1980. His religious recordings even won him Dove Awards in 1995 and 1997. By far a terrific musician.
Well, I don't know. Of course, you know, looking back, you think, well, I really didn't appreciate it as much as I should have done. I don't think you do when you're young.
In at number 3, Vera Lynn. Dame Vera Lynn was a British singer whose sentimental ballads during World War II provided the soundtrack for the Allied war effort. On June 18th, though, she passed away at her home in England at the age of 103 while surrounded by her close family. Lynn's two most famous songs were We'll Meet Again, which was released in 1939 at the start of the war, as well as the song called The White Cliffs of Dover, which was recorded in 1942. That song was created to portray a patriotic image of a courageous Britain that resonated with citizens of the UK even to this day. Dame Vera had also sold more than 1 million records by the age of 22 and also went on to receive a British War Medal as well as a Burma Star and was awarded the Order of the British Empire. She was recognized as an officer appointed for services to the Royal Air Forces Association and other charities. Later in life, Vera went on to do some incredible work when she formed the Cerebral Palsy charity. With this charity, she became involved in raising awareness of cerebral palsy in the 1950s when there was very little understanding of the condition. In at number 2, Kobe Bryant. The death of basketball legend Kobe Bryant and his daughter Gianna in the helicopter crash will be remembered as a day that just stood still. Along with them were 2 of Gianna's basketball teammates, their relatives, and a coach, all of which were on their way to a tournament in Thousand Oaks where Bryant had been set to coach. All of their lives were suddenly taken away in an apparent accident on January 28th, and an absolutely devastating way to begin the year that seemingly just has gotten worse. Not too many news sources named the other passengers, so for your own knowledge, they were Alyssa Altobelli, John Altobelli, Carrie Altobelli, Sarah Chester, Peyton Chester, Christina Mauser, and pilot Ara Zaban. As a shooting guard, Bryant entered the NBA directly from high school and played the majority of his career in the league with the LA Lakers. Some of his accolades include 5 NBA championships, 18-time All-Star, 15-time member of the All-NBA team, 12-time member of the All-Defensive team, 2008 NBA MVP, 2-time NBA Finals MVP winner, and he is without a doubt still regarded as one of the greatest basketball players of all time. Last but certainly not least, on our number 1 spot, Regis Philbin. The longtime television and game show host Regis Philbin sadly passed away from heart disease at the age of 88 on July 24th. He's most widely known as the co-host of the New York City-based nationally syndicated talk show Live with Regis and Kathy Lee, starting in about 1988, which then became Live with Regis and Kelly in 2001. However, I will always remember him as the host of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. His family shared an exclusive statement with People magazine and said, "His family and friends are forever grateful for the time we got to spend with him, for his warmth, his legendary sense of humor, and his singular ability to make every day into something worth talking about. We thank his fans and admirers for their incredible support over his 60-year career and ask for privacy as we mourn his loss." In at number 10, Sir Ian Holm. Sir Ian Holm was one of the most versatile actors of his generation. He did everything from playing an android to a hobbit. Sadly, the actor was struggling with a Parkinson's-related illness and passed away at the age of 88 on June 19th, 2020. His agent confirmed with The Guardian that Ian passed peacefully in the hospital with his family and caretaker around him, adding that he was charming, kind, and ferociously talented. His final days were actually documented in a series of pastel portraits by his wife Sophie de Stempel. Ian, who had been nominated for an Oscar for his role as Maverick athletics coach Sam Musabini in the 1981 film Chariots of Fire, appeared to be destined for a career in supporting roles. However, the actor found a new generation of admirers after being cast as Bilbo Baggins in the blockbuster trilogy Lord of the Rings. In at number 9, Olivia de Havilland. Sadly, the last surviving star of Gone with the Wind has passed away at the age of 104 from natural causes at her home in Paris. The 2-time Oscar winner lived in Paris for more than 6 decades and emerged as a star during the classic movie era. She first began as the romantic partner for actor Errol Flynn in the films Captain Blood and The Adventures of Robin Hood. Then she moved on to play Melanie Hamilton Wilkes in Gone with the Wind, which is still considered the top money-making film of all time when adjusted for inflation, of course. Olivia was born in Tokyo, Japan to British parents, and her parents divorced when Olivia was just 3 years old. Then she moved with her mother and sister to California. After graduating from high school where she fell prey to the acting bug, Olivia enrolled in Mills College in Oakland. It was while she was at Mills that she participated in the school play A Midsummer Night's Dream, and she was spotted by Max Reinhardt. She impressed Reinhardt so much that he picked her up for both his stage version and later the Warner Bros. Film version in 1935. In at number 8, Steve Priest. Another devastating loss was Steve Priest, who was the founding member of glam rock band called Sweet. Steve was the bassist and singer on hit makers such as Ballroom Blitz, Fox on the Run, and Love is Like Oxygen. Steve passed away at the age of 72, but the cause of his death has still been unannounced. The band's official Twitter page posted a statement from Steve's family, who said, "It is with a heavy heart that we announce at 8:25 a.m. today, Steve Priest, founding member of the Sweet, passed away. He is survived by his wife Maureen, 3 daughters Lisa, Danielle, and Maggie, and 3 grandchildren Jordan, Jade, and Hazel." In at number 7, Herman Cain. The second that people like Tom Hanks, Rita Wilson, and Idris Elba were infected with the novel coronavirus in early March, there was a noticeable shift in the way that people were responding to this pandemic. The messaging on whether or not to wear a mask was highly debated, but now it's clear that by wearing them we can actually prevent the spread. 2012 Republican presidential candidate Herman Cain strongly believed that we didn't need to wear a mask. He even tweeted a photo of himself at a Trump rally with no mask and no social distancing, captioning the photo with, "Here's just a few of the black voices for Trump at tonight's rally, having a fantastic time." Sadly, just 9 days later, Cain tested positive for the virus. The 74-year-old then died from COVID-19 on July 30th after spending the majority of the month in an Atlanta area hospital. In at number 6, Caroline Flack. Caroline Flack was a British television presenter best known for being the host of the UK reality show Love Island. According to CNN, Flack took her own life at her northeast London apartment as she awaited trial for an alleged assault on her boyfriend. Perhaps the most disturbing and saddening thing about her scenario is that leading up to her death, the media had just been brutal with her. Now social media, the British press, and the Crown Prosecution Service have all been blamed for their treatment of the television host. Her death was confirmed in a statement made by her family and friends that simply read, "We can confirm that our Caroline passed away today on the 15th of February. Adding, "We would ask that the press both respect the privacy of the family at this difficult time." Flack's mother, Chris Flack, said that her daughter had faced a show trial and been hounded by the press in the weeks before she took her own life. There's also a letter that she wrote that has been released by her family, but we don't really have the time to go through all of it. However, I highly recommend that if this case is in particular of interest to you, go find that letter online. It's quite heartbreaking that this became her only option when the public turned on her. Very heartbreaking. In number 5, Haruma Miura. First things first, I'm so sorry if I mispronounce anything here. Doing my best, but Japanese pronunciation always messes with me, so please feel free to comment any corrections down below. Haruma made his acting debut in 1997 with a Japanese TV drama called Agri, but really rose to popularity in 2007 after starring in the film Koizora. He even won the Newcomer of the Year award at the 31st Japan Academy Prize. In addition to the incredible career that he had as an actor, he also became a successful singer in 2019 with his first single called Fight for Your Heart. Sadly, on July 18, 2020, his body was found unresponsive after hanging himself in the closet at his home in Tokyo. He was rushed to hospital where he was then pronounced dead at 2:10 p.m. A note was discovered in the room as well, which at the very least put the idea of foul play out of the question. The note, which was written in his notebook, was undated, but he expressed anxiety and thoughts about dying. In at number 4, Benny Mardones. Ruben aka Benny was an American pop singer and songwriter noted for his hit single Into the Night. That song hit the top 20 on the Billboard Hot 100 chart twice in 1980, coming in at number 11, and again in 1989 at the 20th spot. The song was from his album Never Run, Never Hide, which ended up going platinum. Its success catapulted Benny into the limelight, but he soon would spiral into substance abuse that resulted in being dropped by his label. Benny had been diagnosed with Parkinson's disease in 2000, but continued to tour and perform until the mid-2010s. In July of 2018, he underwent deep brain stimulation to reduce his motor symptoms, but complications from multiple surgeries resulted in coordination issues that resulted in repeated falls and hip injuries. It just kept getting worse for him. His passing was confirmed to Billboard by longtime friend and record producer Joel Diamond. Benny passed due to complications following a long struggle with Parkinson's disease at the age of 73 on June 22, 2020. In at number 3, Nick Cordero. Nick Cordero was a Canadian Broadway actor that had been nominated for the Tony Award for Best Featured Actor in a Musical for his role as Cheech in the 2014 Broadway musical called Bullets Over Broadway. Nick's debut was in the title role of the off-Broadway production called The Toxic Avenger, and he also played the role of Dennis in Rock of Ages on Broadway in 2012 and on tour. In March of 2020, Cordero was sadly diagnosed with COVID-19 and was admitted to the hospital on March 30th. His wife was the first to report that he was in critical condition on a ventilator and being treated with dialysis. On April 18th, his right leg was amputated as a result of complications from his illness, and by May 1st he had major lung damage and still had yet to regain consciousness after being taken off of sedation. On May 13th, he finally regained consciousness, but by July 5th, after 95 days in the hospital, Cordero died at Cedars-Sinai Medical Center in Los Angeles at the age of 41. In at number 2, Brian Howe. Brian Howe was the former frontman of the British rock group called Bad Company. Brian's first big gig in the US was with rock legend Ted Nugent in 1984. He had been sending his songs to Atlantic Records in London, attempting to get a deal, but they never really liked his voice. One day though, a woman overheard him who worked for Atlantic and thought that his voice would be perfect for the next Ted Nugent album. His manager Paul Easton said that Brian was never satisfied with his work and always attempted to push himself to be better. While speaking with Billboard magazine, Paul said, "Anybody else who sang like him would be thrilled, but I'd call him after a show and he'd go, I could have done better. That was just him, nothing was ever good enough, he was always pushing." Sadly, Brian passed away at the age of 66 on May 5th from cardiac arrest. Last but certainly not least, our number 1 spot, Betty Wright. According to reports from multiple media outlets, the great soul singer by the name of Betty Wright passed away from cancer at the age of 66 at her home in Miami on May 10, 2020. Betty began her professional career in the late 1960s when she was only a teenager. She quickly rose to fame though through the 1970s with big hits such as Clean Up Woman and Tonight is the Night. She also became a prominent figure with her use of whistle register, which for those of you who don't know is the highest register of the human voice, lying just above falsetto. Her work in the music industry has certainly left behind a legacy that will be unmatched for many years to come. Her work has been sampled many times over the years by hip-hop, rock, and R&B musicians. Betty Wright even won the Grammy Award for Best R&B Song for her composition of Where is the Love at the 18th Annual Grammy Award in 1976. She will truly be missed by all. In at number 10, Landon Clifford. 19-year-old YouTube star Landon Clifford was well known for starring on the popular YouTube show called Cam and Fam. Initially, his death was announced after he was said to have been in a coma for 6 days following a brain injury. However, following his unfortunate passing, his wife made a video that told the full story. According to her, Landon had developed an addiction to his prescription medications for ADHD and antidepressants. The combination of these two drugs gave him these extreme highs and lows with his mood. Her recounting of the events that led to her finding her own husband hanging in the garage is absolutely heartbreaking to hear. She was hesitant at first to release all the details on his passing because she was just so processing the information as well. Landon is another reason why talking about mental health can be so important at this time. Landon will be remembered as being the best dad and husband that he could be, and even in his passing he had set up for his organs to be donated to people who are in desperate need all over the country. In number 9, Johan. Kim Jong-kwon, known as Johan in the Korean pop group TST, passed away at the age of 28 with no cause of death being noted in the announcement. Johan debuted in 2015 as a member of the boy band called Nam, but after the band broke up, he joined the TST group for their 4th album in January called Countdown. The TST fans are also referred to as Hannes, and their mourning for the star could be found all over social media. I truly believe K-pop fans are one of the most dedicated fan bases out there. One even tweeted about the purchasing of a star in his name. The user tweeted, "I bought and named a star after our precious Johan. I made sure to find a big bright star that's especially visible in Seoul in June. Not that it can't be seen any other time of the year, I wanted to make sure it was visible in June." His music label also shared a message from his family meant for the fans and what they can do to respect their wishes. The label posted a portion of the family statement and said, "The late Johan's family is currently in deep mourning. The family has pleaded that media articles about Johan's passing, such as those making speculations about the cause of his death, be refrained out of respect." In at number 8, Nicole Thea. These are all going to be pretty heartbreaking, but with YouTuber Nicole Thea, it hits on a whole different level. The London-based social media star was pregnant when she passed on July 11th, thus taking her unborn child at 8 months with her. She had just posted a photo showing off her baby bump with the caption, "Can't wait to meet you little man, soon to be 3 of us." Charles Murray told the press that Nicole had said that she was struggling to breathe and having pains in her chest. Although the autopsy has still not been confirmed, Nicole's uncle says that the family believes that she passed away due to a massive heart attack, and she was only 24 years old at the time. In at number 7, Justin Earl. 38-year-old Justin Earl was the son of country rock star Steve Earle and was an accomplished musician in his own right. The notice of his passing was posted to his official Facebook page, which said, "It is with tremendous sadness that we inform you of the passing of our son, husband, father, and friend Justin. So many of you have relied on his music and lyrics over the years, and we hope that his music will continue to guide you on your journeys. You will be dearly missed, Justin." According to his Wikipedia page, Justin had also struggled with drugs since the age of 12 and had gone to rehabilitation clinics 9 times, followed by periods of sobriety. The cause of his death was not immediately announced, but the Nashville police said that they were investigating the death as a possible drug overdose. Justin first rose to fame in 2007 with the EP called Yuma, and he won the Emerging Act of the Year at the 2009 Americana Honors and Awards and Song of the Year in 2011 for his song titled Harlem River Blues. In at number 6, Chi DeVayne. Xavier Michael Davenport was better known as the stage name of Chi DeVayne and was an American drag queen and reality TV personality on RuPaul's Drag Race. Xavier appeared in the 8th season of the show as well as the 3rd season of the All-Star Series. Davenport had been diagnosed with scleroderma in 2018 and 2 years later would pass after a bout with pneumonia related to kidney failure. Xavier's family made a public statement as well and said, "It is with tremendous sorrow that my family and I announce the passing of my beloved son, Xavier Michael Davenport, the world-renowned Chi DeVayne. Out of respect for the immediate family, please await additional information and directives regarding the final arrangements, memorials, and the method to remit condolences and expressions of kindness." His final words to his family and fans: "Never give up." In addition to this, the official RuPaul's Drag Race tweeted out saying, "That smile shines so bright, we'll always cherish her joyous energy, love you so much, Chi Chi." In at number 5, Jack Sherman. Jack Sherman was a legendary guitarist who played on the Red Hot Chili Peppers' debut album and traveled with the band for their first tour in 1984. Jack even co-composed material on that album as well as several other songs on the follow-up record. After their original guitarist and founding member Hillel Slovak wanted to come back, Sherman was booted from the band. Even though he greatly contributed to that first album, when the rest of the band was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2012, he was not. Sherman blamed the members members for this, saying that it ignored the work that he had put in under arduous conditions. When Jack's passing was announced, the official Red Hot Chili Peppers posted this message to their fans. "We of the RHCP family would like to wish Jack Sherman smooth sailing into the worlds beyond, for he has passed. Jack played on our debut album as well as our first tour of the USA. He was a unique dude and we thank him for all good times, bad and in between. Peace on the Boogie platform." Jack passed away from natural causes at the age of 64 at his home in Savannah, Georgia. In at number 4, Clifford Robinson. Cliff Robinson played 18 seasons with the NBA and was selected in the second round of the 1989 NBA draft. He played his first 8 seasons of his career with the Portland Trail Blazers, followed up by some stints with the Phoenix Suns, Detroit Pistons, Golden State Warriors, and New Jersey Nets. At 6'10", he was the tallest player to make more than 1,000 3-pointers until he was surpassed by Dirk Nowitzki. In 2017, Robinson suffered from a stroke that paralyzed the left side of his body, but he would soon recover much of his arm and leg movement. Since then, he had been residing in the West Hills area of Portland, Oregon, and in March of 2019, he underwent surgery for cancer treatment and wood passive lymphoma on August 29, 2020 at the age of 53. While with the NBA, Robinson was a big advocate of cannabis and the legalization of it in Oregon and Connecticut. He actually said that the use of cannabis helped him get through his entire career with the NBA. He also said that he would use cannabis to help relieve pain and anxiety and to avoid the undesirable side effects caused by his pharmaceutical drugs. In number 3, John Thompson. John Robert Thompson Jr. was the first African American head coach to win a major collegiate championship when he led the Hoyas to an NCAA Division I national championship over the Houston Cougars in 1984. As a result, John was inducted into the Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Fame and the National Collegiate Basketball Hall of Fame as well. After he retired from coaching, John went on to become a radio and TV sports commentator. Before he was ever a coach though, Thompson was selected in the 3rd round of the 1964 NBA draft by the Celtics. He would play 2 seasons with the Boston Celtics and end up winning the NBA championship in both seasons. Thompson was also the assistant coach for the gold medal winning team in the 1976 Summer Olympics, and he coached the last collegiate US team at the 1988 Summer Olympics. Big John's family made a statement for the public and said, "For us, his greatest legacy remains as a father, grandfather, uncle, and friend. More than a coach, he was our foundation. More than a legend, he was the voice in our ear every day. We will miss him, but are grounded in the assurance that we carry his faith and determination in us. We will cherish forever his strength, courage, wisdom, and boldness, as well as his unfailing love." John passed on August 31st, 2020 at the age of 78. In at number 2, Joe Ruby. Joseph Clemens Ruby was an American animator, television editor, writer, and producer. He was also the founding member of the TV animation production company called Ruby Spears Productions. That team was responsible for co-creating the animated series Scooby-Doo. Joe studied art and began his career in animation at Walt Disney for the in-betweening department. His grandson Benjamin Ruby said that Joe never stopped writing and creating even as he aged, with the Warner Bros. Animation president saying that Ruby's legacy will be that he made Saturday morning special for so many children, including himself. And me too. Scooby-Doo has been a beloved companion on screens for more than 50 years, leaving the enduring legacy that has inspired and entertained people for generations. On August 26, 2020, Joe Ruby passed from natural causes at his home in Westlake Village, California at the age of 87. Last but certainly not least, on our number 1 spot, Chadwick Boseman. I'm still even trying to process the loss of Chadwick Boseman. When I first read that initial report, I just couldn't believe that it was real, and I'm sure many of you felt the same thing. The final tweet from the late actor has so far become the most liked tweet ever. In the tweet, the statement reads, "It is with immeasurable grief that we confirm the passing of Chadwick Boseman. Chadwick was diagnosed with stage 3 colon cancer in 2016 and battled with it these last 4 years as it progressed to stage 4. A true fighter, Chadwick persevered through it all and brought you many of the films you have come to love so much. From Marshall to Defy Bloods, August Wilson's Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, and several more, all were filmed during and between countless surgeries and chemotherapy." The family went on to say that it was the honor of his career to bring King T'Challa to life in Black Panther, and that he passed in his home with his wife and family by his side. Chadwick should be upheld as a real-life superhero though as well. Cancer was draining his life away from him, but he kept on pushing, he kept working, and he never once complained about his situation. In at number 10, Joseph Laurinaitis. Better known by his professional wrestling name Animal and one half of the Road Warriors, Joseph led a life that was exciting and had a personality that captured the hearts of millions of wrestling fans around the world. His time in the legendary tag team group laid some of the groundwork for what many of the new superstars have built their movesets off of. He was truly a character that was larger than life when he stepped into that squared circle. From the moment the Road Warrior music hit, stadiums would erupt in cheers and applause as they witnessed tag team history on many occasions. Joseph's son is a former NFL and Ohio State football star, and recently he posted about the passing of his father, which I believe does a much better job of speaking to who this man truly was than I ever can. In the post, James said, "I don't have the right words to say, I'm absolutely crushed. I miss you already, I hate that I wasn't able to say goodbye. Say hello to Mum, Pop Pop, and Hawk for me. Thank you for your love and support and the many lessons you've taught me. I can't believe you're gone. I love you, Dad." In at number 9, Norm Spencer. Much like how Road Warrior Animal and Hawk were a big part of my childhood, so was Norm Spencer. For those of you who don't know, Norm was best known for his work on Saturday morning cartoons in the 1990s. He has performed in several different roles, including Marvel Comics characters, and most famously when he voiced Cyclops in the X-Men animated series. His portrayal of Scott Summers was arguably one of the most popular characters in the entire franchise between 1992 to 1997. For my comic book nerds out there, you can appreciate just how hated Scott Summers can be from time to time, so for Norm to completely flip that reputation for 5 years is pretty impressive. His passing was confirmed by fellow voice actor Cathal J. Dodd, who voiced Wolverine, although the cause of his death is still unknown. Cal confirmed the loss on Twitter and wrote, "Lost my dear friend and cohort Norm Spencer. What a sad day. Norm was the voice of Cyclops on X-Men the animated series. He was a genuine character and sweetheart. I will miss you, Psych. Sorry about the convertible, bub. See you later, my friend." In at number 8, Gale Sayers. The legendary Chicago Bears player Gale Sayers is another great soul that we lost this year. Despite only playing 68 games in his career due to various injuries, Gale is still to this day considered to be one of the greatest running backs of all time. He has been a member of the All-Pro team 5 times in his career and was entered into the Hall of Fame when he first ballot in 1997, and at the age of 34, he became the youngest person to ever be inducted. Sadly, after a lengthy battle with dementia, the Pro Football Hall of Famer passed away at the age of 77 years old. In his 7-year career, Sayers had rushed for 4,956 yards and scored an equally impressive 56 career touchdowns. In at number 7, Michael Lonsdale. Michael was a British and French actor who is known for playing the character of Hugo Drax, who is one of the most iconic James Bond villains of all time. The official James Bond page even posted this lovely tribute where they said, "We are very sad to learn of the passing of Michael Lonsdale, who played Hugo Drax in Moonraker. He was an extraordinary talented actor and a very dear friend. Our thoughts are with his family and friends at this sad time." Although his legacy doesn't start or stop with the James Bond franchise, Michael was born in Paris, and after returning from the Second World War, he became drawn to acting. Due to him being bilingual, Michael was able to take part in both English and French productions before appearing with Roger Moore in the James Bond franchise in 1979. Later on in 2011, he won a César Award for Best Supporting Actor for his work in the movie Of Gods and Men. Additionally, he was the author of 10 books. Although the cause of his death is unknown, Michael Lonsdale passed away at the age of 87 on September 21st, 2020. In at number 6, Pamela Hutchinson. Pamela Hutchinson was a legendary R&B singer from the 1970s, most famous for being part of the trio known as The Emotions. On the group's Facebook page, they confirmed her passing and said, "In loving memory, we are saddened to announce the passing of our sister, Pamela Rose Hutchinson, on Friday, September 18th, 2020. Pam succumbed to health challenges that she'd been battling for several years. Now our beautiful sister will sing amongst the angels in heaven in perfect peace. During this time, the family kindly asks for fans and friends to respect our privacy. We appreciate all kind words, photos, and videos you may want to post for our beloved Pamela, and of course your loving prayers. A life so beautifully lived deserves to be beautifully remembered. We love you, Pamela, thank you, and as always, you got the best of our love." For those of you who are unaware, the song Best of Our Love was a trademark song from the group and one that helped cement Pamela's legacy. The Chicago-based group were all sisters and began as a gospel group called the Hutchinson Sunbeams, and as always, rest easy, Pamela. In at number 5, Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg was an American icon and will be remembered for the incredible work that she did to champion women's rights. Appointed in 1993 by President Bill Clinton, she served as the most senior member of the court's liberal wing. Ruth consistently delivered progressive votes on some of the most bipartisan issues today, everything from female reproduction rights, same-sex marriage, voting rights, immigration, healthcare, and affirmative action. Unfortunately, the loss of Ruth Bader Ginsburg, though, may have only increased tensions in the US with their major election looming in November. Politics aside, though, Ruth was a beloved person that wanted to constantly focus on helping others throughout her entire career. Sadly, she passed away at the age of 87 from complications of metastatic pancreas cancer on September 18th, 2020. In at number 4, Sei Ashina. Ashina began her career as a model and made her acting debut in 2002 with a series called The Talk of Happiness. From there, she went on to star in several other Japanese films and TV shows, as well as voicing the character of Emily Thorne in the Japanese language version of the 2011 American series called Revenge. Although she is best known for her role in the 2007 film called Silk, that film was based on a novel of the same name and is about a French silkworm smuggler and his wife as they traveled to Japan in the 19th century. Sadly, Ashina was found unresponsive in her Tokyo apartment, with the Tokyo police confirming that she took her own life. Her acting representation did publish a statement, and in that they said, "The detailed situation is currently under investigation, but we would like to ask the media to consider the deep sorrow of their families and refrain from interviewing them. We would like to express our sincere gratitude for the kindness of Ashina during her lifetime and pray for the souls of all of you." In at number 3, Toots Hibbert. 2020 did us wrong again and snatched the iconic Jamaican reggae pioneer known as Frederick Nathaniel Toots Hibbert. Toots was one of Jamaica's most influential musicians and helped popularize the reggae genre in the 1960s with songs such as Pressure Drop, Monkey Man, and Funky Kingston. He even claimed to have actually coined the name reggae on the 1968 song called Do the Reggae. His band the Maytals made the announcement on their Twitter and said, "It is with the heaviest of hearts to announce that Frederick Nathaniel Toots Hibbert passed away peacefully tonight, surrounded by his family at the University Hospital of the West Indies in Kingston, Jamaica. Mr. Hibbert is survived by his wife of 39 years, Miss D, and his 7 of 8 children. His cause of death remains unknown, but he had been tested for coronavirus in the last 2 weeks and was then moved into intensive care. The world of music should truly never forget the legacy that this man left behind. Rest easy, Toots." In number 2, Diana Rigg. Another startling loss this year was Dame Diana Rigg, who was actually the only woman in history to play Mrs. James Bond. On the official James Bond page, they remembered the great actress and tweeted, "We are very sad to hear of the passing of Dame Diana Rigg, the legendary stage and screen actress who was much beloved by Bond fans for her memorable performances as Tracy DiVincenzo in On Her Majesty's Secret Service, the only woman to have married James Bond. Our love and thoughts are with her family and friends at this sad time." Her daughter, actress Rachel Sterling, confirmed that her mother had passed away due to cancer after being diagnosed in March. Rachel said that she spent her last months joyfully reflecting on her extraordinary life, full of love, laughter, and a deep pride in her profession. Last but certainly not least, in our number 1 spot, Lou Brock. The Hall of Famer and Cardinals legend Lou Brock displayed nothing less than mastery of the base paths, and in his career recorded an astonishing 938 stolen bases from a total of 1,245 chances. He is still the league's all-time stolen base leader, and his 118 base steals in 1975 is simultaneously the league's single-season record. Not to mention, he helped the St. Louis Cardinals win 3 pennants and 2 World Series in the 1960s. Cardinals chairman Bill DeWitt Jr. said in a statement, "Lou Brock was one of the most revered members of the St. Louis Cardinals organization and one of the very best to ever wear the birds on the bat. He will be deeply missed and forever remembered." What former teammates remember most about Lou was his vibrant smile. Whenever you were in a room with Lou, you couldn't miss it. He had the biggest, brightest, most vibrant smile on earth. The other thing that Lou was known for was his lack of complaints. Many team members knew that he had struggled with injuries, but when he hit the field, no one would even suspect that he was playing hurt. Brock had part of his leg amputated due to diabetes in recent years and was diagnosed with cancer in 2017. Sadly, the baseball legend passed away at the age of 81.